Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Got a very, very special guest for you today. You guys make sure not to like or subscribe to him. His name is Rags to Riches, and he hates when you do that. He really hates it. So just please don't. I'll just get that out of the way now. I want to say hi to people in the chat really quick. We got Texican, Hexican, Real Red Beard, Church of Universal Oneness. That's the dope name. David Morales, and we already have a tip from Crypto Artie. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the
thank you, Crypto Artie. Thank you.
That was you were the first on that one. Explosive Artist, good to see you. Nom nom to you too. Crypto Surfer, and yeah, we got let's see, 14 people, and we'll just let people keep trickling in. Anyway, very special guest. You guys know him. You've seen him. The ginger that's trying to start his own country. Rags to Riches, everybody.
What in Tarnation is that? Oh my gosh, dude, that was a brilliant thumbnail, by the way.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I love a good clickbait thumbnail,
dude, and that's what you need. That's what you need. You did well, dude. How's life, man?
Life is great. You know, I'm just trying to enjoy the bear market as much as I can. We're all just sitting around circle jerking about when the bottom is going to be. So yeah. So you know, one of us is going to be right. Maybe it's September, maybe it's August, but you know, now is the time to build, and you're one of those guys that's building some cool stuff. So I wanted to have you on to just talk about that and speak your piece, because you know, some people get triggered these days, Rags. People get triggered when you try to do stuff on PulseChain.
Yeah, and on one hand, I know why they get triggered.
Yep.
And it's because there's so much scammy stuff out there, man. And a lot of people who have migrated to Hex migrated here because they got scammed and their account got nuked, and they're looking for a safe haven. So it's a very natural reaction, I think. And I think you point that out all the time too.
Yeah. Well, you know, you have to be pretty skeptical in this game, and you have to be, you know, 99.9% of things are legitimate scams. But the cool thing about PulseChain is I think we're really filtering out the cream of the crop. You know, all the good stuff is rising to the top, because we've got those morals that Richard Hart instilled, you know, the trustlessness, admin key free. I think you guys were talking about this on a previous stream, that some people do get, rightfully, I would say, annoyed that a lot of projects, and it's the bear market, right? So there's not a whole lot of new money coming in, but a lot of projects these days are just kind of like, you know, trading money between hands, between this coin and that coin, but not really doing the best job that they could maybe at targeting outside you know, onboards, right? And that's the name of the game at the end of the day. We want new people to get in. That's how all this shit works. We need the price to go up.
Yeah.
We need new users. And I think that's something that you're doing very well from what I've heard, but I've only heard like about 10 minutes of it so far. Hold on 1 second. Hex Kong, thank you.
Thank you, Hex Kong. Appreciate you.
Second tip. But yeah, I'll give you the mic for a little bit. Just introduce Texan token.
Yeah, Texan token. Yeah. So I like what you said there. You watched a really important part of that 10 minutes that we did. And here's the thing. The onboarding aspect of no coiners is the holy grail of crypto. It's what everybody's trying to solve. So Matt, Crypto Heartbeat, he was in the nonprofit space, and an interesting story about him. When the internet was really starting to come on the rails, you know, back 20, 25 years ago or so, Matt was taking a look at this, and he says, you know what? He was working with a nonprofit organization before, and he looked at this. He said, there's an opportunity here to use the internet to help raise money for nonprofits. So he was one of the first people who really hit it out of the park with regards to using the internet and matching them up with nonprofits and helping them meet their goals there. So fast forward 20 years or so, and Matt sees blockchain, and he sees when Richard donated money to the Sins Foundation, or had people do that, and a light bulb went off in his head. And the conversation that we had after that really just took us to where we are now, to where we are taking a look at existing nonprofit organizations that are looking to do very good things for the world. And the thing that we like is it's the political side of the house. I think the political side of the house and cryptocurrency, I think that we actually pair up pretty well, because a lot of the things that we say in this ecosystem is very important to the folks that we're partnering up with. So they have 435,000 members. Their name is Texit, or Texas Nationalist Movement. You can go to texitnow.org to kind of understand what they're all about. but we wanted to help them get a referendum to vote in 2023. Let the people of Texas vote on whether or not Texas should become an independent nation. And there's a lot of backstory to this. I would recommend you guys, it's an incredible history lesson. If for nothing else, check out the book Texit. But these folks, they want to set the example for the rest of the states. And they want to say, guys, you know what? We think that this whole system right now is going down a completely wrong trajectory. And we want to be able to right that trajectory. We want people to come to Texas and be a part of this thing, and then set the example for the rest of the states, that it doesn't have to be the way that it is right now. And for me personally, man, it has a lot to do with the money side of things. The Federal Reserve, we can go on and on and on about that, about how broken that is, and how sad it is that people just expect a recession now every 20 years when it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, they're not used to hard money, and the Federal Reserve is not so federal. I think it is inspiring, to see an entire state full of people literally willing to break away, similar to the old colonial days with that spirit of liberty and individuality. It almost gives other people hope for the future that, hey, if these crazy Texans can do it, we can accomplish a lot if we work together. I think today a lot of people they just give up and kneel before the government as if it's the end all be all. And, their government overlords know what's best for them. At least that's what I'm seeing on, I don't want to get too political here, but that's what I'm seeing out there. And I just think we have some power more than we think.
And I love that you bring that up. I love that you have that understanding, because that is true. People have given up because they don't think there's an alternative. They don't think there's another way to solve this. They think that this Leviathan is too big to slay. So I like what these guys are doing at T&M, because they're providing an alternative, a way to get the change that we need, a way to use those bargaining chips and leverage. And this is not a violent thing. This is, we've come a very long way in the past, 1,000 years. A lot of folks have done this. This is a legislative thing. This is based on negotiation. If you take a look at Brexit, a lot of the same things that Brexit did, no violence whatsoever, this is what they want to accomplish, right? And the funny thing is, everybody thinks that it's illegal to kind of separate from the Union, but in the Constitution, the part that outlines what states can and can't do, that is actually nowhere to be found. And in my opinion, I think that's on purpose. I think that the founding fathers wanted to give states a choice to be able to push back if it got to the point that we're at now. So, that's the political side of this, right? And then on the other side of this, when you boil it all down, you just have an immutable contract with no admin keys that once released, it's up to the market to decide what they want to do here. So have you heard anything about that side of what we're doing at all?
No. So the movement makes sense. And yeah, how does a crypto token tie into all this?
Yeah. So what we wanted to do, they've got 435,000 members. We're going to help get that money to help them get that vote, that initiative. All right. So there's a donation phase that's going to begin on the 18th, actually. And that donation phase, 100% of the money is going to go to these folks. If you do decide to donate, they are going to give a list of people who have donated to us. And for about 10 days, there will be for every dollar donated, 10,000 points. Okay. As kind of a gift for donating. And we're used to gifts. You go to a fancy dinner if you donate to this, or you get a hat or a t-shirt, where you're going to get no value coins. All right. So these are going to be no value tokens for your bonus points there. So what happens after that is we're kind of partnering with these folks, and we want to onboard their community. Now, one of the big questions is, are we going to onboard 435,000 members? I don't think we're going to onboard 435,000 members. I'm going to say that right now. However, what if we get on board 10% of that? Is that a reasonable goal? I think that's extremely, extremely reasonable, because people know people who know people who know people. So
network effects.
Yeah, yeah. So we can get 40,000 to 50,000 people that come on board. That's a massive chunk, especially when you look at the total wallets that some of the projects in our community represent. So we are really going after that holy grail. We are finding ways to tokenize existing communities that already have the infrastructure and already have the messaging and already have the loyalty and brand recognition. And we want to bring them into cryptocurrency because we believe that that's a match made in heaven there.
Well, I think what's so badass about that is you're legitimately targeting a brand new audience, and none of these people are going to be, just sloshing money around, as I like to say, back and forth between existing community members. This is 400,000 people, 10% of that even, and that's maybe a lowball number. 10% of that's 40K people, and how many people even join the sacrifice set? Maybe 50
Yeah,
to 100K.
56. Yeah, yeah.
So it's like you're basically targeting, just under maybe around half or a little bit more of the whole entire PulseChain sacrifice set.
Yes. And I use this extreme example, and it's never meant to insult anybody in this ecosystem. But if we just wiped hexagons off the slate completely and we targeted this to this community, I think there's a good chance we would find success. I really do. Or I would say a better chance than maybe some other projects that are launching right now because of this other community that we're involved with.
Yeah, I knew nothing about this until you and Matt brought this to my attention, or Crypto
Yeah.
Heartbeat.
Yep.
And so I'm still like very new to the movement. So I did hashtag TNM in the video description, hashtag texit,
Awesome.
whatever else I can do, whatever other keywords, I'll get all those tags below. But these guys seem like a bunch of, this group of people, this community. Is it kind of a tight knit group, or how do they organize themselves?
It's tight. It is tight knit, and they have a good infrastructure too. They've got some field folks that I think represent about 1,000 people who are in charge of spreading the message of Texit in Texas right now, a network. Okay. So these are folks that are going to be going out there and talking to people and networking and getting in the cities and going to the events and things of that nature. And then once you kind of think about that, you're like, wait, that's pretty powerful. It's already an infrastructure there. So that's what we're doing. We're very excited about it. We're very excited about our partners, a tight knit community that really does believe in freedom. It believes in sovereignty, and it believes in providing an alternative for people, not only in the States, provide hope and an alternative for people all over the world who believe that here in the past 3 or 4 years, and certainly over the past, 2 or 3 or 4 decades, these folks have started to show their hand, and the winds of authoritarianism are they're on the horizon right now, and we're in them right now. So we got to have an alternative.
Especially when you talk about central bank digital currencies, that is the iron fist that's coming for all of us. And it's, hey, if you like your freedom, because money is speech and money is the ultimate form of freedom. And if that's restricted and somebody can shut that off or tax you extra on certain things that they might not like you buying, we essentially run into some kind of a social credit system in a way, or just you have to be a good little boy or girl and not do anything that the daddy government doesn't like. Otherwise they'll shut you down. They could freeze your whole entire account. Well, they already can, but it's going to be even more draconian, and it is pretty scary. But crypto is kind of the shining light to me. It's one beacon of hope that we have left, and that's where I think that the crypto community can actually learn from something like the TNM movement, because if we see all these people actually taking power into their own hands and seceding from the United States, it's proof that, or it's a good example, I should say, that if us crypto guys get together too and we lobby in government and we actually try to affect some change, then we can change the laws to be more crypto friendly so we don't stifle innovation and create this nightmare apocalypse world.
Man, you couldn't have said it. I couldn't have said anything better, man. Absolutely. And I talked on my port stream this morning. You guys know about my daggone port streams. It's all good. Now, are you from Texas, by the way?
I am not, but I've been there quite a bit.
Okay, cool.
I love Austin.
Yeah, so for some reason I thought you were. So I was talking to on my port stream today, and I'm just sitting here. We're chatting it up, and we're talking about the fact that we're in a bear market right now, everybody's upset, everybody's fist fighting, this and that. And
Actually, today, sorry to interrupt, somebody actually offered to fist fight Richard Hart. I don't know if you
really,
saw that. Yeah, one of the haters, he said, I will, I think because Richard just basically, annihilated him with facts and truth about how he shilled some crappy shit that got everyone wrecked. And
yeah,
his response was, I challenge you to like a boxing match. It's like, okay, bro. I mean, Richard's probably also got like 6 inches on the guy. It's like, I don't
right,
think that would
right,
end well for him either.
and some pounds on him too.
Oh, definitely the LBs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, man. It's like money is kind of our distraction. When we first get into this thing, we say, you know what, cryptocurrency, my buddy's buddy got rich. I think I can get rich too. I'll look at this chart. I can time the market. I can sell high and buy low. And then you get wrecked. And then you say, okay, well, how do I do this the right way? And then you find out how to do it the right way. And then you kind of get into this phase where you're like, okay, what's next? I'm waiting. I've done all the right things. What's this cryptocurrency thing all about? And then you listen to somebody like yourself, Crypto Coffee, and he starts talking about the Federal Reserve, and then he starts talking about, tyranny, and he starts talking about these things, and your mind starts like opening up. You're like, well, I want to learn more about this because this affects me. How come I don't hear about this on the news? What's happening here? All right. So you go through these phases of crypto, and now like me, and I think a lot of people are in that phase now that we're starting to open up to the idea that crypto is a bargaining tool. It is leverage. It is power. And if we can combine that with the other side of the house, the political side of the house, it's pretty cool. But also, I would implore people not to get sucked in to the pixel. You need to zoom out and you need to see the whole picture. Okay, if you're focused on the money, that's an important part for a lot of people. But a more important part about this is, what's the world going to look like in 50 years for your kids and grandkids? And that's really where our power will come from as a community and as in crypto in general. So we can find a way to play ball at that level. If we can find a way to focus ourselves, and we can find a way to come together there, that's when really cool things can happen, because a lot of people are very well capitalized to do those things as well.
Yeah, I think the famous quote that I love is that, crypto is a global financial revolution, the greatest wealth transfer in human history, disguised as an internet Ponzi scheme or a get-rich-quick scheme. And
Yep.
that's exactly what it is. But what I want to ask you now, I want to dig into that token a little more. So
Yep.
I donate to the TNM cause. I get some, valueless tokens that may
Yep.
or may not be traded one day, because as
Right.
we know, anything with a ticker symbol tends to have a price eventually
Sure.
one day. Just kind of how things work.
Right.
Are there any pumpamentals or reasons to continue to buy after the initial donation?
Yeah, that's a good question here. All right, so we'll just kind of run down all the basics, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. This is obviously going to be a PRC20. We kind of went back and forth about whether or not to launch on Ethereum, but ultimately what we decided was, this community built us, and we understand that, and we want to be loyal to the community. So we're going to wait it out with everybody. We're going to launch this thing on PulseChain. The second thing that we're going to talk about, so this is going to be PRC20. There is some interest in yield involved here. There is a 5% annual base interest rate. Okay. So just base interest for participating in staking, you're at 5%. Now, this is a longer pays better. This is not a bigger pays better. So every year that you hold your stake, there is a multiplier, and that over the course of 22-year period, which is the maximum stake length, you can average about 87% per year. Now, obviously, this is on a curve, right? So it's on a curve. At the beginning, you're not going to get 87%. But at the end, if you do hold off, that'll be something that you'll be allowed access to there in terms of yield. Total supply. This is going to be 100. Yeah, go ahead.
Maximum length?
22 years.
22. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now, the question is, why 22 years? That's been a big question. It's because in traditional endowments, and if you don't know what an endowment is, it's basically where companies or entities, nonprofits, they lock up their money in investments, and they scrape the yield from those investments to pay for operating costs. So that's what it was in the legacy world. So a lot of those time horizons for those folks are 20 and 30 years when they're locking stuff up. So that's why we did that, because we want to speak the same language to these people when we go and talk to them. So 87%, if you were to hold the entire time and divide all the interest by 22, it'd come out to about 87%. All right. 100 trillion tokens are going to be launched day one. We're going to launch with our total supply. 97% of those are going to be locked in a contract. Okay. Nobody will have access to that. It's going to be locked in this contract, and that contract's going to act like a giant credit and debit account. So what does that mean exactly? 97% is the bank, 3% is actually going to be circulating. Now I will say this. You might say, like, who gets the 3%? The partner gets 3%. The people who donate or the partner gets 1%. The people who donate get 1%. And then the team, our team, gets 1%. The team and the partner are required to stake for 22 years as soon as they get that. So actually, we only have 1% available for circulating. Yeah.
What is the partner, or who is that?
Yeah, T&M.
So as a corporation?
No, it's a nonprofit, Texas Nationalist Movement. Yeah, yeah. So they will receive 1% of that supply. 1% of that supply will be locked up for 22 years at launch with them. And then also on our side, the team, 1% will be locked up. So 1 trillion will be staked for 22 years as soon as it's launched. And that leaves essentially 1% is actually circulating.
Okay. And let me see if I understand this. So,
Yep.
So this narrative fits in well with the 22-year lockup period because of endowments and the way those work, and the way that a lot of these traditional financial people already understand these systems. So that might play into their narrative, right?
Correct.
And then the reason that there's 97% just in a treasury or whatever, that's to pay the interest to these long-term stakers over time, because it has to be limited in supply. And if you can't make any more tokens, or you can't have inflation, you might as well just print a crap ton right away and then just slowly. Okay.
Now, there's a couple other things along with the endowment narrative, and here's what you have. We have built in the ability to scrape your interest without having to sell your principal. Okay. So let's back up real quick. When you make a stake, what the system does, it takes a look at that stake. Let's say you do it for 22 years. It looks at all the possible interest that's going to happen for that 22 years for you, and it burns it out of the supply and it reserves it for you. Completely burns it. So that way in the future, there are no train wrecks. Okay. So that is going to be reserved for you. They take it out of the supply. They burn it forever. Gone. So in that fashion, in that manner, it's kind of like having a gold mine in a way. Like if you want to stake, if you want to get paid yield on that, you better go grab yours. Right. Now, to be straightforward, we've modeled this it's got 50 to 100 years on this, but that's just based on averages that we looked at across DeFi. So you've got that part. So what happens with scraping? So let's say you got 22 years and 10 years in, you're like, you know what? I would really love to get into this token or this 5555. I can scrape my interest, all the accumulated interest up until that point, right? And I can take that without having to sell, and I could create a 5555 stake, right? Or I could invest in a wallet that Richard made, or maybe he has some type of trading platform that he's going to make, or an NFT platform that he's going to make. So we're creating the opportunity for people to have, another yield-bearing product in the ecosystem that can compound on top of other yield-bearing products in the ecosystem. So I think that that's probably one of the coolest features, and it ties back to the perpetuity thing, where people can lock up principal and they can scrape their interest for costs or whatever they want to do.
Okay. And then the demand can continue to be generated from this giant pool of people, right? And that's kind of what you're thinking, is the more people that can get onboarded, the more people can cross over and get some residual effect into PulseChain and that whole ecosystem. But there's no shortage of TNM movement people to basically pitch this to.
Right. And one thing that people got to understand is some of these folks, they're donating $10, $20, $50 a month already on an auto debit, because that's what the traditional system looks like, right?
Okay.
So what if we're able to kind of take that and allow people to have a piece of this pie too, instead of just passively giving money?
So cut out the middleman with no fees.
Right.
I'm sure there's a fee involved, like credit card fees, whatever.
Mhm.
Riz wants to know how often can you hit that scrape button?
Yeah, that scrape button can be hit, I believe, every single month if you needed to, but it probably wouldn't make sense to do that. Would recommend probably yearly there,
Cool.
just because at the beginning it's not quite worth
So when launch, sir?
it.
Come on.
Well, we announced the donation phase that will start the 18th. All right,
Hmm.
and that's going to go for 60 days. And this will launch. We are waiting it out with PulseChain, guys. We're gonna wait it out with everybody else.
I
So
think that's smart.
yeah, yeah,
A lot of people are doing this double token thing where, and it's fine. It's going to work out well for some tokens, but
sure.
it just seems easier to me to just have one token on one chain, especially if you're targeting all these new people. They don't want to have to learn about, oh, there's Ethereum and now there's PulseChain. Like, let's just onboard them direct,
Yeah, that's how I feel, man. And it just adds levels of complexity that I think are just kind of net negative for us. There's just so many ways to screw up this whole thing that I just want to take all that out as much as I can. I will say this as an example. We were thinking about taking a lot of different types of coins and tokens. And Hex, we were thinking about taking Hex. I actually made the decision yesterday not to take Hex. Okay. And that's because I feel like taking Hex right now at the bottom of the market in a weird, strange way in my heart is kind of stealing for some folks, because I know that that's going to run hard. So we decided to just use stables, and you will also be able to just use fiat as well. So that's just one of those things where we take out complexity, we take out all potential FUD, and we say, listen, we want Hex to stay in our members' hands, because eventually that's going to be a lot of money to folks.
That's really really generous and thoughtful, actually, and I hope people see it from your point of view, because it would be easy to say, oh, well, people are just going to dump their Hex for stable coins and blah. It's like, no, you heard it here, guys. He's doing this so that you can keep your Hex and you can buy more of it.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on, let me try to get my head around this 60-day launch phase.
Yep.
It kind of seems like us in the know in the crypto community might get a chance to be early adopters, because in your honest opinion, how many people in the TNM movement are already on board versus people that you've just been telling in the crypto world?
Yeah, that's a great question. Nobody yet, I think, really knows about this. They will know very soon, like within the next day or two. And that's something that I thought about too. So what we're going to do, this is going to kind of be like an adoption, not an adoption. It's going to be a bonding wave. All right. So what do I mean by that? For the first 10 days, there's going to be 10,000 to 1. After that first 10 days, and I guess I got to do it this way, you're going to see a dip.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a bowl, and you're going to see it come back up all the way towards the end. And that's because we understand that there's going to be a learning curve on TNM's side, and we still want to give them an opportunity to get a good rate. So I think that's kind of like a first in terms of the ecosystem at large, but you will get a really good rate at the beginning. It will drop, but it will probably curve back up to about 75% of the peak towards the end, to be able to tailor towards the people that are just kind of slower to go in terms of onboarding.
Interesting. Yeah. I guess, I don't know what I would have done for that to accommodate that. So it's a complicated situation, because, I guess you're just saying either buy early or buy later. Don't buy in the middle.
We're assuming that there's two really big things that I thought about with this, and Matt and I and the team thought about. We said, we want to give people, the Hexkins and the Pulsekins and everybody, the opportunity to get onto this early. And at the same time, we want to also kind of have a marketing push towards the end too, because that curve's going to be coming back up. And we want people to be able to have that. So it is a bonding wave in a way there. And we want the TNM folks to be happy as well. So I think it kind of checks all those boxes. Plus, let's face it, a lot of folks here, they've got 9 to 5 jobs, right? So you're going to get, it's pay periods. So you get paid at the beginning, and 60 days later, you're going to have the opportunity to get a really good rate again. So I think it's pretty strong in that way.
You ever hear anything about some kind of Miami coin? David's saying Miami coin got wrecked. I don't know if there's anything that's ever been done similar to this before.
Not familiar with Miami coin. No, I know that they allowed people to be able to pay bills and taxes and stuff with Bitcoin, but I know nothing about Miami coin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's really no precedent for this kind of thing. It's very interesting. I think, just the fact that you're targeting an external group is means your intentions are good. And some of these will eventually convert. Some fraction of these new TNM onboards will become hexagons, pulsecons, etc. So that's interesting. There's a lot to think about here. So like how do people get paid out at the end of the day? The token eventually has to be sold, correct? To fund for US dollars to fund some of these people in the movement.
Sure. It's going to be essentially the exact same way as anything else would happen, right? You're going to serve your time. If you do serve your time, then you're going to be able to sell. It's sell through PulseX, and then you're going to follow all the channels back to your off ramp, essentially. So that's important. I want to say this too, and I don't think I touched on this. There are early in-stake penalties with this. And this is actually how we make this net deflationary. Okay. We are going to burn 100% of all early in-stake penalties. It will not be redistributed to stakers. It's not going to go anywhere else. So we launch with 100 trillion, and then based on those EESs, all those get burned, never to come back again. So just want to let people know that that's the kind of an additional pumpamental there.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Now we are different in this too. This is going to be, if you do decide to EES, make sure you scrape first, because if you EES and you don't scrape, you're going to lose it all. We do have a text box that pops up and says, are you sure you don't want to scrape first before you EES? Just to let you guys know. So we're going to help save people here. But the EES penalty is 50% of your principal if you EES underneath 50% or underneath, how much you've served. So it is very stringent. It is very strong, but at the same time, just keep that in mind when you're setting things up. Hexray Vision, he actually set up a scraping ladder for us, and he made a really nice PDF about it, and it's really, really cool. Very, very interesting. There's a lot of neat things that you can do with this. So yeah, pretty interesting there.
So I don't have to stake these coins, right? They don't come pre-staked.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all liquid. And you have the ability to scrape or stake or not stake. It is up to you.
So these max length stakes seem attractive to me because 87% APY in the later years, correct? Not in the early days.
Correct.
But I still will be able to scrape every month. So
yeah,
and as long as there's generated demand from new onboards within the TNM movement, and it's almost, is it based off the success of the TNM movement, would you say?
I would say that. I would say this too. Initially, I don't see a massive amount of those folks getting into this, but as crypto adopts over time, and as the TNM are talking about this, and in the narrative that's involved with this is pretty big, I would see that a larger portion of that 400 or 500 or 600 or 700,000, if they get this vote, they continue to onboard these people as a slow burn over time. So I'm thinking about that. And then you have the whole, if you took away the utility of freedom and sovereignty and getting the vote on, you can kind of just take that away and say, okay, this is a meme coin that represents freedom and sovereignty and all these things. You can kind of think about it that way. Will people latch onto that if they have trust in what this represents and they can see a solid track record up until that point? Sure. It's just like anything else with crypto. So we've got that utility, but we also have that narrative as well. And we also have two solid communities that hopefully will want to participate.
Okay. And that's texan.cc?
That is right. Texan.cc. We are we have been audited by CertIC. Paid about $35,000 for that bad boy. And so we've got that. You guys can dig into it. You can see all the little problems that they found in the contract and then how we were able to rectify those as well.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to read through this website a little more. Obviously, guys, I haven't done much research yet, to be honest, and I clearly haven't donated or anything like that because that's not even possible yet. But I see you can do this on the testnet right now. When you're pitching this to people that are totally not in crypto at all, what's the route that you recommend to them? Is it just Coinbase to MetaMask to this?
Yeah, so we're kind of thinking about that right now. The neat thing about MetaMask that we do have is the ability to purchase Ethereum directly from MetaMask, and I guess that would kind of be an easy route. You can do that through Apple Pay, and you can also do that through Wire. But we're also looking at a couple other things here. I think initially we're going to make you have to have a crypto wallet address in order to receive those no value airdrops. So I created a video yesterday, a very simple video, about 6 minutes long, onboarding people into what MetaMask is, best practices, and how to get that address. And we will probably actually put that. We'll have the Texas folks put that on the website to be able to create that wallet and to get that airdrop.
All right. So I'm seeing on the stake tab, you just got buttons. You can stake for 1 year all the way up to 22. But you can also select days in between, right? So this still goes by days, similar to Hex.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a really interesting, novel idea.
Yeah.
I see a large community that, again, I'm not too familiar with, but they might be, very easy and likely to onboard. But it also kind of seems, on the other side of the coin that a lot of these people that aren't in the TNM movement might just not care at all. So it's a very limited. It's not like you have the whole world at your disposal. It's just this segmented group. Would you disagree?
Yeah. Nope, don't disagree. This is a very interesting social experiment here. Let's see. But
because someone in the UK, like, what do they give a crap? They like, what are they going to ever care about texit?
Yeah, here's the interesting thing. I've been overseas quite a bit. I've been all over the world, and if you go to some random person, let's say in West Africa, I spent a lot of time there. And you say, "Do you know about California?" "Oh yeah, I know California, Los Angeles, yeah, LA, I know it." And then you say, "Do you know about Texas?" "Oh, Cowboys, Texas, yeah, I know Texas." Everybody in the world knows about Texas. In fact, I would say that 30% probably of my followers are actually either from somewhere in Europe, probably similar to you, or
Same.
New Zealand, Australia, and this really resonates with those people too, because of all the horrible things that have happened across the world in light of COVID and how things got clamped down and freedoms got removed. Something like this is something that people can latch onto. And if a referendum does go through and the people of Texas vote on this, that's going to send a shockwave through the world. That's going to be on headlines everywhere. It's going to be massive news, and it's going to be a huge bargaining chip to help change things for the better. Whether or not they exit or they don't exit, or they say these are the stipulations, or whatever the case may be. I think that this actually is a lot bigger than people say. A lot of people say it's focused on Texas. I think it's much bigger than that. But then again, I'm the co-founder, and that's my job to make people think a little bit bigger. So,
well, I mean, let me tell you something. Like, at the end of the day, we are all buying into. There's a huge degree of trust that we have to place in people, and
yes.
then you and Matt being the leaders of this whole thing. I mean, you guys are some smooth talking, rootin' tootin' cowboys over here, and I find it easier to buy into your narrative when you're actually better at explaining and better at speaking. That this is really for financial sovereignty for worldwide, and it's like it's a movement that goes way deeper than just texit. So not anybody would be able to say that so eloquently. You know what I mean? And it really is just a battle of narratives at the end of the day. So good luck to you, and getting people to buy in.
Yeah, man. Good luck to us. Good luck to us, because ultimately this is it's going to be positive for us, but it's also going to be positive because people are going to be able to look back on this and they're going to say what went really good, what went really bad, and then kind of how can we maybe improve on this to make people's lives better in the future, even if it's not from our team. I will also I'm going to kind of sprinkle this in real quick. The entire point of this is to kind of talk to existing communities, and I want to say that we have an existing community that probably has 5 to 10x the amount of people that we're talking about right now, and that will come to fruition. You guys will know about that, I'd say, within the next 6 months or so. So we're really excited about that as well.
Can you give any hints?
It's big. We'll just say that.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I got to decide now if I want to FOMO into this thing or not. Jeez.
Well, here's what I want to tell everybody. I'm not naive to think that this thing's going to blast off. All right. The market decides. A lot of cryptocurrency projects fail. We've done everything we possibly can to control the variables that we can control. After that, it's up to everybody else. I would highly encourage people, regardless if you're interested in this or not, read the book or download and listen to the book Texit by Daniel Miller. Once you do that, you're going to get a really good understanding of where they're coming from. And you're going to understand that this is not a violent thing or anything of that nature. This is an alternative. It's a way to kind of to push things back. So, or push back against things. So be sure not to just ape in, understand what this is all about, and then make a good decision on it. Because it's not for everybody.
I love that you're even saying that. You know, it's inspiring that, you know, this is kind of crypto under what it was supposed to be for, right? Giving the power back to the people. And, you know, if the Texan movement can benefit from this kind of cryptocurrency being interwoven, I think it's a perfect match. SJ and Francis Powell want to know about the airdrop. I don't know if that's something you missed.
Yeah, so there will be an airdrop. Actually, pretty cool. We have decided to airdrop an amount of Texan token that could be in the future of some value. Obviously, not when we airdrop it. But we've decided to airdrop the Hex staking class people who sacrifice for PulseX and PulseChain. So initially it was just PulseChain folks, but we've opened it up to everybody because we just want to say thank you. Feel free to dump it. Feel free to buy Hex with it. Feel free to stake it in Texan. Feel free to do whatever you want. But it's just a thank you to everybody. So that's what we're doing.
So you're just airdropping to everyone with an address?
Yeah, so let's say that you're a Hex staker. You also sacrifice for PulseChain and PulseX. So if your wallet's in those 3 different places, you only get one airdrop. All right. But everybody who has a wallet in any one of those will get an airdrop, and it's actually going to be a claim. So we're going to give people the ability to check out that process to make sure it's safe. I'll probably actually release the details of it to some of our smarter members in the community so we can get the okay before we even release it. So that's kind of what that's going to look like.
Cool. Yeah, claims are better for tax purposes anyway. Plus, you know, I mean, people are always going to be like nervous about claiming something from a website. But if you guys just post an audit, maybe from the Pulse Police, like a code review or proof that there's no admin keys, I see that being a pretty quick, easy, free money. You know, I'm interested in that. So I've got 3, like I sacrificed from a different wallet than I, you know, stake in. So will I be able to claim from any staking address wallet plus any
unique wallet that's in any one of those 3, as long as you're not going to get double of anything from one wallet.
Sweet. Free coins.
Yeah.
Free
why
coins
not?
Good.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Hey, you know, I got Rags to Riches here for, I don't know how long you can stay, but I usually make these things about an hour long. So that would give us about 15 more minutes to just answer audience questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. All right, guys. Ask Rags some stuff. Yeehaw, SJ.
Yeah, PLSX SAC, correct. So
it's it's either or, right? It's not both and.
Yeah. Whatever your wallet address that you've interacted with any one of those, you will get one airdrop. It cannot be duplicate. You can't have 3. For example, if you're a Hex staker, PLS and PLSX, you're not going to get 3. You're just going to get 1 from that wallet. Okay. So it's going to be dependent upon unique wallets. No duplicate.
Charity wants to know how much free money are we going to get?
I know how much, but you don't know.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. And that'll only be given obviously after the whole thing launches on PulseChain. So
sure.
It'll be a while.
Yep.
Maybe.
Hopefully not. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah. Are you going to the PulseCon?
Yeah, I am. Are you going to be there?
I bought a plane ticket, so I guess I kind of have to now.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of my folks. It's just an opportunity to go hang out with Hexkins, man. So I'm excited about that.
Cool. Are
And
you giving a talk?
Yeah, I'll be talking for a little bit too.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah, should be a good opportunity there.
Immutable Rip City says trying to stake Texan token, but can't seem to get my Texan token from Test Pulse. I don't know what to tell you on that.
Yeah,
Refresh the
so
page.
we can walk you through. Just go to t.me/Texan token, and we can help walk you through all that. AJ Rip City. Hey AJ, by the way, man, glad you're recovering well. He had open heart surgery. He had like triple bypass.
Oh my
So
God.
that was like, I don't know, 8 weeks ago. So glad he's feeling better.
AJ, cheers, buddy. I'm glad you're doing good.
Yeah,
glad
dude.
You're doing good. What else we got here? Everyone get the same amount or based on amount sacked? It's just the same amount.
It is going to be the same amount because we didn't want to give. We appreciate whales, but we just wanted to give everybody the same flat amount, just to kind of be fair.
Yeah, cool. And by the way, guys, in the description below, there's a link to texan.cc and to the Telegram channel. So if you want to learn more, click those links.
Absolutely. And yeah, check us out on Twitter too, Texas_token. And claim phase will not begin until after the whole donation phase has ended. Correct. What if PLS launches during that time? Then we're going to have to shift our timelines. So we're ready. We've got the team. We're ready to execute as quickly as possible when that happens.
Nice. Briz says, will we see the Texan token interest build up daily like how we see on the Hex contract? That's probably not for me.
Yeah, so it's cool. You'll actually, we hope some community members build some more tools out of this, but on texan.cc, when you hit that button top right for staking, it will show all of your stakes and it will show your accumulation up until that point. So we made it very simple there. So you will be able to see that.
Cool. I'm clicking around as we speak.
Yeah.
AJ says, how do we swap Texan token with Pulse on testnet?
Yeah. If you go to app.v2b.testnet.pulsex.com, which is just the it's PulseX for the testnet there. You will be able to go to exchange, and if you do have PLS, you will be able to just swap, just kind of like on Uniswap. We're dealing with PulseX here. You'll be able to swap PLS for Texan token. So let me see what we got here. Yeah, we've got liquidity pools set up for PLSX Texan, PLS Texan. We've got the USDC, we've got Hex, and we have the incentive token also for liquidity pools there. Also, the cool thing is, hold on a second. Sorry. Also, one of the cool things that you can do is you can go in and play with liquidity providing. You can set up your own pairs. You can do all sorts of stuff on the testnet, folks. So go in there and kind of mess around with the Texan token and let us know what you think.
Cool. I can't press the stake button right now. It's not highlighting.
Uh-oh. Let me check. Let me see what we got. There's a problem. That's good for us to know.
It's probably a me problem.
Oh, yeah. It is working for me. Maybe refresh.
Turn it off. Turn it back on.
Yeah.
All right, guys. 10 minutes left.
Awesome.
Ask a question now or forever hold your breath. Is that how it goes?
Somebody says, since this isn't the Rags channel, I already liked the stream. Well, good for you. See, Coffee?
It's good. See? It's the reverse psychology.
Yeah. Yeah. Rune Dragon said PulseChain won't launch until RH movie comes out, in my humble opinion. I think it'd be kind of naive for us to think that there's not some type of play there. Especially, launching PulseChain in conjunction with Netflix and all that. That's probably going to be a big pump-a-mental for us.
So you're thinking before the end of the year, but pretty close to the end of the year?
Yeah, December. He said last night, he said 5 months from today. So that's when that would be happening. I'd imagine that's how it's gonna take place.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Pulse Man's triggered. He says, fair. If you sacrifice $20, you'll get the same amount of tokens as those who sacrifice 20K. Yeah, bro. That literally is fair. Because like it's free money anyway. So if you're gonna complain about your free money, maybe is it not free enough for you?
Well, if you donate $20,000, you're going to get a whole lot more token than somebody who donates $20. With that multiplier, keep that in mind.
Maybe that's something like, so the airdrop is different than the actual donation phase, guys.
Yeah,
the airdrop is just kind of like the weight token. Like as long as you were in the sacrifice set, you're going to get some arbitrary amount. But if you're not happy with that amount and you want to donate more, it's almost like the free claim and adoption amplifier.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Briz says, so you can't stake because you probably don't have any Texan coins in your wallet. Oh, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen. Zach Davis, what's up, dude?
What's up, Zach Davis?
Hextra Vision says penalty burning. We talked about penalty burning. It's pretty good. Deflationary. And let's see. So it's 50% if you don't complete 50% of your stake. You get hit for a flat rate of 50% of your principal. Now, what if you complete over 50% of the stake?
Yeah, over 50% of your stake, it will still burn 50% of the principal, but you will get interest based pro rata. So basically, whatever happens after that, in terms of how many days you served after that 50% period, you will get interest.
Nice.
Yep.
What does pro rata mean?
Just think about it as adding up past that 50% period, essentially. So once you hit 50%, how many days you serve past that is how much you would receive in interest. Yes.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So it's proportional to the days that you've completed.
Correct. Gotcha. Yes.
For all chain stack addresses. Good question. So what if somebody sacrificed on Binance?
This is going to be fiat. We'll give you the option for fiat, and we want to do USDC from ETH chain. Okay, so this is going to be ERC20 USDC. That's what we're looking at here. So you can also purchase USDC from Coinbase, for example, and just make sure that you put it in a wallet that you own the keys to. Very, very, very important. We're only telling people to do this from MetaMask. Okay, so send some USDC to MetaMask, and then you can donate from there.
Smart. But I think this guy's actually talking about the free airdrop.
So yeah.
Free sacked on some other chain for like PulseChain.
Yeah, so we'll have details about that specifically. There are actually a couple things I need to iron out before that goes live. So just pay attention to our Telegram or our Twitter or our website, and those details will be there.
Cool. Any estimation on total supply? I thought you said it was a couple
100 trillion. Yep.
100 trillion.
It will be 100 trillion. Yes. 3% will be circulating. 2% of that will be essentially auto staked for 22 years when it launches. So 1% will be remaining. 1 trillion.
It's a lot of zeros.
Yes.
Could new hex stakers before Pulse launch still receive a Texan token airdrop?
Yes. Absolutely.
Cool.
If you're a hex staker.
That's you're basically incentivizing people to stake now.
You can stake right now. Absolutely. Go ahead and stake. Get ready.
Yeah.
We're just going to look at the on-chain data. Yeah, we're going to look at the on-chain data. If you're staked, then it is what it is.
If you're not staked right now, I don't really know what you're doing with your life, because this is the bear market, and like what better way to wait it out than just to get paid for doing so? So Come on now, guys.
Yeah, Hex is literally designed to be staked, and if not, you're getting chewed up by inflation, folks. So stake your Hex, please.
Or not financial advice. Hey, Briz, where can I buy 5% of the total supply over the counter? I don't think you can afford it, Briz. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, don't ask me that question. Ask somebody else that question. I can't answer that at all. Nor would I want to.
When will you announce the airdrop amount? After donation phase?
Yeah, after donation phase.
Yeah. Let's see. Just make another project and call it Kick Ted Cruz out of the US token, and you'll probably raise even more money.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. Although wasn't Ted Cruz kind of pro crypto? I don't know much about him.
Well, Ted Cruz, he's been shilling the heck out of crypto and Bitcoin. He's been pushing back against Elizabeth Warren quite a bit, who doesn't know shit about it. So, maybe an ally is an ally, but do we trust him? Do we trust the existing system the way it's set up? I don't know. Very skeptical.
Yeah, he's still a politician.
Yeah, so. Very skeptical.
So Texas is Hexaco now. I just got here. Yeah, basically that's what we're saying.
Well, you know what? There's some big time benefits to living in Texas. I'll tell you guys that right now. Margin Kari says, I'm setting up 100 wallets and stake 100 hex on each. And you're trying to get me to react to that. I would say this. I would say do the right thing and ask yourself, is that the right thing? I don't know.
Yeah. 100 hex on each, you might have some gas fee issues.
Yeah, that might not be very worth it.
Maybe 10 wallets with 1,000 hex.
Sure.
Wouldn't be such a bad idea.
Sure.
You know? Man, if Texas actually exits, I might consider moving there.
You and many, many other people. Texas has the most Fortune 500 companies in the States. And you had Apple's moving there. Tesla just moved there. People are just tired of this redistributive economic policy and this woke crap that's going on, man. They're just tired of it. And they're providing jobs and massive amounts of value for the world. And they're just getting chewed up and spit out by New York, chewed up and spit out by California, Pennsylvania, all these, Washington, all these woke states, man. People are tired of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Texas itself has like a higher GDP than I think all of Russia, correct?
Yeah, ninth largest GDP in the world. It actually has its own isolated power grid as well. People don't really know much about that. More veterans live in Texas than in the entirety of the United States. There's just a lot of cool things about Texas.
There's some oil pipeline thing, right?
Yeah, it's got the I think it refines 30% of the United States oil in fossil fuels, which is more than any other state as well.
Cool. Plus everything's bigger there.
Everything is bigger, and I've been there, and I can definitely attest to that. Especially the hamburgers and the steaks. Everything.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What other state promotes being self-governed? Pay attention. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm not sure if maybe Florida. Florida's made some headway quite a bit. So
Florida's just crazy enough to pull it off too. So.
Yeah.
The grid almost collapsed last year. Texas has a lot of okay. Let's maybe not get kicked off of YouTube. Talk about nukes. Ted Cruz bought 35 to 45K worth of Bitcoin. Okay, so he's down on his money.
Yeah, he is, but he had to in order to talk about it because he saw that FUD coming.
Oh, I see.
Do you have Bitcoin?
Yeah. All right, guys, we're pulling up at an hour here. Rags, always a pleasure to talk to you, man. I love what you've been planning, and it's great to see people building in the bear market.
Yeah, man. Like I said, guys, thank you, dude. Thank you so much for having me on Coffee. You're a friggin' staple. Everybody loves you, man. You have great content. Keep it up, and you're just going to be a solid leader moving forward into the next bull run when everybody shows back up. And it's good, man. We just got to grind away. And I also want to say this to folks, guys, this project is not for everyone. Please do your research on this. Please at least understand what this is, because I think it's important for everybody. This is a good opportunity for you to learn a little bit about history too.
Cool, guys. Like and subscribe to me, not to Rags.
Nope.
Buy my course. I'm poor. It's the bear market. I need money. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, buddy.